Let us pray for peace, for justice. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and the hour of our death. Amen. Mary, seat of wisdom, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, so this morning we reflect on the universe as the effect of God creating. In fact, we reflect on the existence of the world as a creation of God. So the first part is the universe explained by creation. Why the universe exists, how it exists. So when we speak about the word creation, we'll be attentive that the word creation is equivocal. That means there are two different meanings, depending. Creation can be seen in God as the act of creating, in God, or in the world, in the universe. If I speak about creation in God, it is the act, the active sense. The act of God making something from nothing. Okay? That the act of creation is in God eternal. Because God has not successive activity. All his activity are in one with his existence. Everything is one. The fact he exists, he is creator of the universe, etc. Okay? So that is the meaning of creation. Creation in God, it is eternal. In fact, all the activity of God are eternal. What is the word eternal? No past, no future, only present. So, creation for him is present. We are eternally present to God. God knows us from all eternity. Okay? That is the dimension of creation. But we speak about creation sometimes. Oh, look at the beautiful creation. You know? So creation here means creatures. Universe. Maybe it would be better to speak about creatures than creation. Here it is the passive sense. That is the cause. Here it is the effect. So sometimes we use the word creation as the effect. Look at creation. And we see sometimes, we know the existence of God from his creation, from the effects. So the word has two meanings. Can have an active meaning, a passive meaning. So in the passive meaning, of course, being created by God, that is in time. For us, that means there is a beginning. A beginning for our existence of the universe. But in God, the action of creation is eternal. But creation, considered as an effect of God, is temporal, is in time. The effects are not eternal. They begin, but the cause is eternal. Okay? But the same word, creation. So we have to be attentive to that when you speak about creation. Is it the act of God making things from nothing, or it is the fruit, the effect of that act of God making things from nothing, the creatures, the world, the universe. So the creation in a passive sense means which exists with dependence on creation. Here it is, thank you, brother, dependence. Dependence. Even if suppose the world be eternal, that is not contradictory, because we cannot put a limit to the power of God. God can create the world as long as he existed. He exists, not he existed, he existed. Present. Okay? Even there, the Word was not God. because it will be by another. In we depend. In fact, the idea of creation is not an idea of beginning, it is an idea of dependence. Because when we speak about creation, we speak always about beginning, at the beginning. No? But essentially, is a notion of dependence. We depend absolutely to exist on another. We depend absolutely to continue to exist on another. And that other is God, exists by himself. No? That is the meaning of creation. But for the majority of people, creation is linked with time. No? But for the philosopher, as you are, now think about creation as a link of dependence. Because we cannot exclude the possibility of a world eternally created by God. It is not contradictory. Why? Because the idea of creation is not an idea of beginning, because for God there is no beginning, He is eternal. It's an idea of dependence. We depend on God to begin to exist, and we depend on Him to continue to exist and to operate. Okay? So, what is passive creation? Passive creation is a certain relation to God joined with the newness of being. That means every creation is something new. Of course, I will say more than that. Every production is something new. Suppose you have a manufacturer, they produce cups for coffee cup and for Starbucks. Okay? They produce cups. Every cup is new. Even it is the 2 millionth, it is a new cup. But it's not a creation. Because the difference, creation is not only something new, it's something new from nothing. But for Starbucks, on the cup are some from clay, from some matter, okay? Or some plastic. So the creation, in the passive sense, means the universe. So when you say the beautiful creation, that means the whole universe as the effect of the creating act of God. So creation, a passive sense, is to be created by God and to be sustained in existence, including not only bodily substance, material substance, but also immaterial substance, mind. And in the creed, when you say the creed on Sunday, what do you say? I believe in God, Father Almighty, creator of things, visible and invisible. Of course, a materialist cannot say that. But He is the creator of every being existing by another. Essentially, there is only one being existing by himself, God. No problem about creation if we accept the existence of finite minds without bodily substance. Finite minds, for example, our soul is a finite mind. Well, here we can speak about angels. It's not known through philosophy. We cannot know angels through reason. Angels are known only through revelation. But when you know that by revelation, you say, no, it's not impossible. It is totally possible that God create mind out of body, pure mind, pure spirit. It's not impossible. But we cannot prove that. We cannot prove in philosophy the existence of angels. But we can prove the existence of God, and we can prove the spirituality of the human soul. But angels, that is a mystery of faith. Because we have no reason. We can accept the possibility, like I can accept the possibility that God created a man with 3 eyes. It's not contradictory to have a man with 3 eyes, 2 to see in front and 1 to see behind. It would be useful, no? No, it's not contradictory. It is possible, but it is not because it is possible that the thing exists. So it is possible that angel exists, spirit exists, but we don't know. As philosopher. But that is interesting to see the link between faith and reason. So when the faith tell us that our angel exists, angels are a reality, we say, oh yes, that is possible. I can accept that even as a philosopher. I can accept their existence, but I cannot prove their existence. Okay? I continue. I go to number 114. The origin and the continuance, or what we call sometimes conservation of the real universe. Not only God made things big, becoming from nothing, but He continued to sustain them in the existence. So we assume the realistic view of the universe as the true view, and which this understanding we must undertake show that this real universe is not an imagination, it's a real universe as its origin and continuance to the creative act of God. That is the thesis of this chapter. That means if we exist from nothing, we must exist by the one who can make us from nothing. That means from a creator. So God is a creator. That notion is interesting also. He was not known by the Greek. The first philosopher to speak about that was Judeo-Christian. Judeo-Christian because creation was known through revelation. Because for the Greek, the word is eternal. They did not think about the beginning of the world. They did not reflect on that. And with this understanding, we must undertake to show that this real universe has its origin, continuance. And God is the cause of the existence of the universe. God is the cause of the continued existence of the universe. Not only He makes the universe, Voltaire, the Freemason and the deists, they say, God created the world. After that, he retired. He go to Florida. He said, no, mind your business. It's your business. Take care of the world. No. God sustained, not He create, He sustained. Okay? After what we previously studied about the omniscience and omnipresence of God, with the mere help of our own human reason, we can now affirm with certitude that the created thing, all its origin and continuance in the influence of God's power. Remember from the first proof. The three first proofs of existence of God are excessively important. Because the three first proof, metaphysical proof, are the way we can know who is God. We can know the attributes of God. We can know God is a creator. Not from the four. The four designer, the designer cannot say, we cannot say God exists as the designer is a God. No, He's a designer. But the three first, pure act. God is pure act. God is unmoved, uncaused cause. And God is existing by Himself, necessary. We are contingent, He is necessary. The true first proof are those who will allow us to affirm that God is a creator. So we affirm something in philosophy that Plato and Aristotle did not affirm, because they did not have the light of revelation. So it's interesting, that case is very interesting to prove that faith and revelation, they don't oppose, but they go together. In our Christian faith, it must be rational. That means we cannot explain everything, but we try to understand as much we can, because God gave us an intellect to understand the best we can. And what we cannot discover by ourselves, he reveals that to us. Revelation. Okay? So you will see that in theology, faith and revelation. Okay, next page. Well, the popular concept is largely anthropomorphic. Sometimes, for example, we consider the God as the one who pushed the first domino, and all the dominoes fall after that. You know, we have we don't have a direct knowledge of creation. Why? We were not there. To have a direct knowledge of creation, we should be witness to creation. So we know creation, the act of creating from God, in God, only from its effects. So through reason. Through reason. It is the reason why we don't have only one interpretation of the existence of the world. Pantheism is an interpretation, and the materialistic approach is also another interpretation. You remember, if P, then Q. Huh? If P is the cause, then the effect. But can we start from the effect to know directly the cause? No. So we have to see the many possibilities. In fact, there are three possibilities. The interpretation, everything is God. Or the other, nothing is God, only matter. And the third one, matter exists, but does not exist by itself. They exist by another. So we pass. But in St. Thomas, here, in fact, we follow St. Thomas, we speak first about the act of creation, and after we will analyze the two other possibilities. The second part of the chapter is on pantheism, or the third one on pantheism, and the second is on materialism. Huh? Okay. So I go to the text of St. Augustine, just in the third line in bold character. God, being intimately present to the world, fashions it. Being everywhere present, he fashions it. God is everywhere, there is an effect. And does not withdraw elsewhere. That means he fashions, he creates, but he stays with. He continues to. Why? Because the way we begin to exist, it is the same way we continue to exist. That means if I begin to exist in dependence of God, I continue to exist in the same mode. Well, it was something very common sense. A cat begins to exist as a cat. And when he continues to exist, he continues to exist as a cat. That means if I exist as a creature depending on God, I will continue to exist in the same manner depending on Him. That means, in fact, creation is not, for God it is instant, but for us creation is continued. Creation is continued. Continually, we are sustained in existence by the creative power of God. Continually, we are sustaining from nothing by the power of God. Why? Because we have no power by ourselves to exist. Well, example, electricity. The lamp here exists as illuminating in the measure it receives the electric power. No? If electric power stop, light stop to illuminate the class. So we exist because God sustains us in our existence and make us exist, and the way He makes us exist, that means depending on Him, is the same way we continue to exist. That is important. We cannot separate creation and conservation. For God, the act of creation and conservation are one, not for us. When Raphael Or Michelangelo sculpted Moses in Rome, the beautiful Moses, power, or David, or Leonardo da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa, or Raphael, the saint in the Sistine Chapel. They died. Everyone died for 400 years. But they continue to exist. Not the painter, the thing. The painter, the sculptor did existence. He gave the becoming of the statue. The becoming. He is the cause of the becoming. But the existence of the statue does not depend on the sculptor. The marble, the paint does not depend on the sculptor. So, but for us, we depend. We depend on. Okay? So the necessity, next paragraph, the necessity of creative power of God for things to continue to exist. I go just after that. The created thing always remains as it begins, dependent. Well, another analogy to understand that. Of course, I give you analogy. Every analogy is imperfect. When you are born, you are the son of your mother or the daughter of your mother, no?
Yep.
And all your life, you will be the son or the daughter of your mother, no?
Yep.
So your mother is the cause of your becoming, but you keep with her a relation for the rest of your life. So in God, by analogy, God makes us existing, and after that we keep with Him a relation of dependence in our continued existence. So I go further. Things made by men, they are not totally dependent from men. For example, the carpenter who did that desk, the becoming of that desk is depend on the carpenter. But the carpenter probably is old, retired, or is dead, and the desk continue to exist. So that is, man is the cause of the production, but man cannot be the cause of creation. What is the difference between production and creation? Production is produced from something or from nothing. The creation is to produce from nothing. That means creation is a production, but not every production is a creation. So creation can be from something or from nothing. The carpenter used wood. He is a producer, a maker. God used nothing. He is a creator. In fact, when we say all that architect created a beautiful building, in fact, is it correct to say that man creates something? No. But what is interesting, in every production, there is a dimension of newness, new. Even if the carpenter makes the 10th desk or the 100th desk, the 100th desk, as I told you before, is a new desk. That means in production, there is always the aspect of newness, something new. But what is the difference between the production of the desk and the creation of the world? The production of the desk is new, but not totally independent from something pre-existing. Depend on the wood, on planks of wood. But God creates something new, absolutely new, but from nothing. Yes.
So even our ideas, they wouldn't necessarily be a creation, they'd be a production.
Yes, yes. Everything we do are. Even, you know why? We said that in philosophy of men. Huh? Everything we know comes from our sense experience. You see the importance of that. That is fundamental. Huh? When I say the most important chapter in philosophy is the theory of knowledge. Is the central of philosophy is that. Because if we accept, we depend on thing to know, it's quite different to say the thing depends on me. You know, we can say that for God, we cannot say that for man. In fact, the idealism applied totally, completely, is to attribute to man the power of God. God is creating from nothing. Man is producing from something. And all his ideas come from his sense experience. Even the one who created the plane, the brother writes, but they imitated the bird, no? And the submarine, they imitate the fish. Yeah. Is that possible to have an absolute new idea? We use our idea, apparently they are new, but they are from some experience, from something before. But we transform that through our imagination and through our intellect. Okay? So always you have to depend. Okay, next page. No, the thing made by God. So in fact, every finite being is depending on another. Because every finite being, contingent being, depends on another. A value. That other, to explain the existence of the others, must be himself without depending on nothing. That means he must be absolute AC. And when he creates something as a pure act, as an uncaused cause, as a necessary being, he must create things from nothing. From nothing. And that is the power of creation. The characteristic of creation is creation of something new, but men can do the same. We can do something new, but from nothing. Okay? Man transforms, God creates. Suppose you are in your kitchen and you invent a new recipe. A new recipe. Are you a creator? No, you are a transformer. You transform product you have into something new. Okay? It's the same for music. It's incredible music. We have 8 notes. C, D, E, F, A, G, J, A, D. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. And with that, you create billions of melodies. But you create from something. In fact, you don't create, you make some harmony, some arrangement. You don't create. Of course, we see he's a creator. By analogy with God, he's not really a creator because it starts from something. Okay? So now the proof of creation, page 3. How philosophy deal with the question of fact? In fact, we have no direct proof of creation because we were not there. So we cannot have a scientific knowledge of creation. Creation escaped physics. Creation escaped chemistry. Creation escaped biology. Is the reason why when in biology they interpret the cause of evolution by chance. They are not scientists, they are philosophers. It has the extra pole. A scientist must be stay within the limit of observation. And nobody was there when the world was created, except God himself. So we have no scientific knowledge of creation. Okay? No direct knowledge of creation. So we know creation only through reflection from experience, from Q, and we proceed by exclusion or by elimination. So I told you we have 3 possibilities, and we exclude pantheism, we exclude materialism, and we arrive to the third one. That is proceed by exclusion or by elimination. It is exactly what a detective does when he is in front of a dead person. They try to find all the possibility, and they verify, and they say no, finally, one. Yeah. Okay? So I go to next page, page 4. So when we eliminate materialist interpretation. When we eliminate pantheistic interpretation, then we arrive to the only one which is correct. It is the creative interpretation. That means the existence of the world can be explained only through an act of creation. And we have no direct knowledge of that. We attain that through reasoning, through demonstration, through syllogism, using our logic. Okay? So what is the first proof? The first proof is this from contingency. Many times, excuse me if I repeat, but when we study philosophy of God, it is a kind of spiral. Huh? We turn all the time to deep, you know, because we have only three major proofs of the existence of God. So in all the attributes, we refer continually to those proofs and to the proof of the designer after. Huh? Okay? So if you go to contingency, so the universe is a contingent being. Why? Because it is changing. The proof of contingency is change. And if there is change, there is place for progress. That means there is a mixture of potency and act. Potency and act. So change is not a sign of perfection. Change is a sign of incompletion. Imperfect. What is the word imperfect? Perfect means achieve, complete. Imperfect means not complete. Okay? So when we change, there is possibility for progress. That means we are not totally what we should be when we change. Okay, not totally pure act. And never we will become pure act. Because to become pure act is to be God. That means for all eternity we will be in potency and in act. And that is interesting to explain. Sometimes, see, what will we do in heaven? It will be boring. No, because we are in potency to know, in potency to love. According to Aristotle, we are always in progress, in capacity to know more and more and more and more for all eternity. We never finish. You will satisfy. We will be eternally student.
Oh.
Yes, learning. We know, because we cannot know everything in one instant, no? So yes. And we love more and more. Now, that is my interpretation. You are not obliged to believe that. No? But for me, it's a sign, it's a cause of hope. Otherwise, imagine if we are statues for all eternity, not moving, not changing, not progressing. Boring. But what we are sure, a philosophical point of view, for all eternity, we will be made by potency and act. And because we are in potency, there is always possibility for progress. How? I don't know. But I say the possibility is there. Maybe I am totally wrong, but according to philosophy, you know. But what is the sign of potency? The capacity to receive. The capacity to progress. Yes, brother?
No, it was, I guess, probably theology, but when he says, be perfect as my Father in heaven is perfect.
Yes, it is. So, it is a model. God is our exemplar, which are not in philosophy. God is our exemplar, the model of our being, the model of our perfection. That does not mean we will become exactly himself, but we will be like him.
So we'll be as perfect.
Don't forget, to be like is to be different. Yeah. To be like is to be different. That means never we will be God. But forever we will be like him. Otherwise, you are God. Okay, I come back to the text here. So contingent beings cannot explain their existence by themselves. Therefore, they cannot explain the world exists by himself. And I'm obliged to go to... so, on one side, the world exists. The world cannot explain its own existence. Therefore, it must receive existence by the one who is existing as it. That is the first step. The second step, now, the world exists, but it does not exist by himself. God is totally independent of the rest of the universe. Therefore, when he made the world, he made the world from nothing. He cannot make the world from something. Because it will depend on, and God cannot depend on another than himself. So that is the reasoning to prove the extent, the creation, God as a creator. 3 steps. First step, we depend, we are not existing by ourselves. Therefore, second step, there must be a being existing by himself, extending by existence. But that existing by himself, when he produced, he made the world, the universe, he was depending on nothing. Therefore, third step, he must have done the world from nothing. Therefore, he is creator. You see the reasoning? Huh? Okay. Because if you say he starts from something, he is a demiurge. He is not God. You remember, for the Greek, the demiurge take the world as a chaos. He put order in the world. He put his mind in the world, organized the world, and after that it was cosmos. But that is a demiurge. It's not necessarily God. Because there was something before. And God must do something from nothing. Why? Because he's totally independent. He depends on nothing. He cannot create from something. He can produce from something, of course. Jesus, for example, he took water into wine. Okay. But God, when he created the world, he cannot depend on nothing. If he depends on nothing, he is not God. So if he is pure act, is the pure necessity, he must create from nothing. He has no choice. He has no choice. Why? Because if he depends on something, he is no more God. To be God is to be totally independent from anything. To be absolute, assez. What is the word absolute? That means alone, totally independent. So his act of, very important, his act of creation is a pure act of love. Because it depends on nothing, on nobody. So if he creates, it's a pure love, pure gratuity. Okay?
I got a question. This is probably theology, but okay. So when the Word Himself told His followers to go out and preach the gospel, He was, in a sense, depending upon them to do that.
Be careful. Jesus is God, but He also is man. No? Secondly, I am a theologian. I humbly recognize my limit.
I know.
No, but that is interesting for you. The link between philosophy and theology. The link between faith and reason.
Yeah.
No? Okay. Well, I go next page, page 5. So we reject pantheism. We will see that. I don't want to insist on pantheism. And we reject also eternal matter. Matter unproduced and self-existence. Prime matter cannot exist. Because prime matter by nature, by definition, is absence of determination. Can an absence of determination exist? When you go to the bank and the teller say, "Hey, Father, I cannot give you money because you are in the red for $10,000. It is an absence. It's not a present. An absence does not exist. Your $10,000 don't exist.
But the debt does.
Okay? They don't exist. They are a privation of something, but they don't exist. Okay, so I go to, so if prime matter cannot exist by itself, it cannot produce the world. Prime matter cannot create the world. Matter cannot give what it cannot have. It does not have. That is the error we see of the materialist philosopher. We interpret the creation of man, intellect of man by matter. For Marx, for example, the thought is the secretion of the brain. Okay? Page 5, second argument. It is taken from Plato. St. Thomas uses that argument. So it is the problem of the one and the many. The Greek was always fascinated by that question. How is it possible that the many be one? How is it possible that the many be one? I'm sure that question never impeded you from sleeping. But it is a very important question. How is it possible, for example, that all your senses, all your many organs, all your trillions of cells are one? Well, you saw maybe I did not see this year, the St. Patrick Parade, or at Christmas, Macy Parade. And you see all those girl and boy coming from Ohio, from Wisconsin, with their band, 200 children, they dance at the same. See, all that is multiple. They are 200, and they do exactly the same thing. The many is one. How is possible the many be one? Only because there is a principle of unity, harmony. When I was a young teacher, I created a band. That band still exists today, 1957, 58. When we began, every child was playing the loudest he can with his instrument. So you know that, and they have fun. They like that. It's a cacophony, total cacophony. And the master arrived. Stop. After that we begin, and it is harmony. We start from cacophony, chaos, to cosmos, to harmony. Why? Because there is a principle of unity, a principle of organization, a mind in that. Okay, so that is the the common element on that. There must be a cause of unity, a cause of harmony. And that is not coming from the multiple. The multiple cannot produce harmony. The multiple will produce chaos, cacophony, noise. But to put that together with the principle. So that creation is one cause distinct from all other. What is important? The cause of the unity of the many must be outside of the many. That means there must be a principle of harmony, a principle outside of the many. And that creation, that means we must have a one, a being outside of the world. If the world is in harmony, the planets, the plant, etc., we know that there is harmony in the world because we study the laws of physics, the laws of chemistry, the laws of biology. There is all that must be the fruit of one. Well, that one, according to Plato, St. Thomas, and our reasoning must be outside of it. And if it is a boy in the car, the first violin, for example, he stand up and he with his, what do you say, arche, with
It's,
his
bow.
bone, he said, hey, silent. Well, that is a principle of harmony. And when he is doing that, he's not playing, he is commenting, you know. So that is the second argument taken from Plato. Now page 6. Of course, not everybody accepts that. Huh? And there are some objection to that. For example, St. John Stuart Mill, those who study sociality, you remember, it is one of the thinkers of liberalism, John Stuart Mill. He says that there are permanent elements in nature, the chemical element in their property, conservation of nature, and the sum of total force, energy. So he said, you know, in fact, all those things are permanent. We don't need a creator. They are there. In fact, it is a materialistic position. The materialistic position is to affirm that things exist for eternity, and they have their own explanation in themselves. In fact, in chemistry, you study the law of Lavoisier. In chemistry, nothing is created, nothing is annihilated, everything is transformed. That is the law of chemistry. You have H2. You have H2O. So you have 2 H2 plus 1 O2 gives you 2 molecules of water. Nothing is, when you study chemistry, you study that. It is transformed or either in another product or into energy. Into energy. Okay? But what is the criticism we can do for that? In the time of Mill, science had as an article of faith that the chemical elements were ultimate and unalterable. We cannot change that. Scientific orthodoxy no longer requires such a belief. We should know that, for example, that an atom can be transformed into another atom. Okay? By radiation, for example. He uses energy, it becomes something different. Plutonium, after centuries, can become lead, Pb. Okay? So in all the changes of material universe at the beginning, matter and force are there, and at the end of the changes, matter and force are still there, the same in quantity, but in different form. What is interesting for us is not the quantity the same. What interests us is the change of form, transform. The carpenter transformed the wood into a desk. Transform. Put a new form. Okay? So, but this last phrase, different in form, is the point to study. We do not need see matter and force created to recognize them as contingent. It is enough that we witness them undergoing transformation. It's not necessary to see them at the beginning. It's sufficient to see them being transformed, changed. So it is from the phenomenon of change that we arrive to the necessity of a being that does not change. Okay? Well, you can read that. And at the bottom of the page, matter and force, energy, are the subject of the changes that take place, and the subject of change is not necessary. By the fact we change, we are not necessary. That means we cannot explain our existence by the fact we change. On the contrary, because we change, we have to have an explanation for our change. That is the first proof of the existence of God. That is the first proof, the first mover. Every change is made by the first, because change is passing from potency to act. But to explain that, we must have a first being that is pure act. Because each with potency, at this time, it must be explained. Okay, next page, Spencer. Spencer is a biologist, philosopher, influenced by the theory of Darwin. So a first objection. It is the idea of space and time. I read the text. If the universe is created, then we must conceive that space was created in the same manner. But, and that's the objection of Spencer, the impossibility of conceiving this is so manifest that no one dares to assert it. You see, it is impossible to think that time can be created. What is the answer? Well, yet, if Spencer has known the tradition of philosophy from St. Augustine to St. Thomas, even to Newton, he will have found that time is nothing without number. What is time? Is the measure of movement, the measure, the number. And space is nothing outside the material universe. And that in the creation of the material universe, space is produced and time is produced in the production of matter. Is the reason why I told you, if the world be eternally created by God, the world will be in time and space.
Say that one more time, Father.
Even if the world, by hypothesis, will be eternally created by God, the universe, by the fact it is made with potency and act, will be in time and space. That means the eternally created in God, but in time and space as effect. That means the effect of the creation in God is a necessarily temporal and spatial effect. That means the effect cannot be God. Now, time is not a creation direct. God did not create time. He did not create, no. When He created the world as a changing, moving, progressing, at the same time, time is attached to that change, and space is attached to matter. That there is not direct creation of time and space. Time and space are attached to the existence of material universe, material world. Now I go to the second objection by Spencer. A self-existing creator is inconceivable. Spencer cannot conceive an unlimited duration such as the self-existing being should have. We saw when we study eternity, remember, we studied that eternity is not a question of time. Eternity is a question of duration, to continue to exist. Duration is to continue to exist. God continued to exist eternally, that means in one instant, without any change, with total perfection. Of course, Mr. Spencer, because he's a materialist, he has difficulty to accept that. So what can we answer? Short answer. The same tradition, etc., will have shown that the duration of self-existing being, the duration of God, what is that? Eternity. Eternity. Is not of the kind of he imagines, a sort of indefinite prolongation of time duration. You know what the problem? The problem of Spencer is the problem of many people, even Catholic. When they speak about eternity, they take the category of time and space. But there is no time and space in eternity. Is the reason why it's almost impossible for us to know what happened after our death. You remember what the friend of Saint John Bosco said after he appeared to Saint John Bosco? He said, totalitaire, alitaire. I told that to you? Huh? Totalitaire, alitaire. Totally different.
What if he meant it in a bad way?
Totally different. Why? Because in our state on earth, we are in time and we are in space. But in eternity, there is no time and there is no space. Of course, there is big problem in theology for the presence of the body of Jesus, the body of Mary, body of spiritual, body immaterial. I don't know, I don't want to answer that. But what I can say, we have no real knowledge of what happened after. Because the dimension of our lives on earth, time and space, are totally absent after that.
So we're gambling, in a sense. We're gambling.
No, you're not gambling.
That's what it sounds
You will
like.
be in a new dimension you don't know. The example given many times by some people is a very good analogy. When the baby is in the womb of the mother, can you imagine there is another thing than outside of the mother? He is well fed, he is happy, he is happy. He will, and when he go out, he cry. What? He is not happy to go out. And when he arrived outside, he discovered a world totally different. He was in the water, the liquid, he was so well, and now he's dry. You know, it is a total new dimension. It is a little bit what some, for example, if you take a Vietnamese from the jungle, and you take him to Saigon, or you take him to New York. It is totally different, but that is nothing in comparison of. So, what I can say that I don't know. But I know that what we think for the future will not correspond to the reality. Does not correspond. Because we have no mean to know what. We can say, what we can say, it is not space, there is no space, there is no time. But we have no idea of what is to have no space and no time. Here's a good example. We define spiritual reality by negation. I say eternity is no time, no space. But what is that? I don't know. I know only negatively. So you can imagine what you want. You can put Dairy Queen in heaven. You can put dogs and cats. For me, that is not a problem. What I know, if you have a cat, he will be in no time and no space. As long as we don't have a body after resurrection. And that is theology. St. Paul speaks about a new earth, new sky, new etc. So, but in fact, we cannot say more than we can. I think sometimes the error of some theologian or some people, good attention, they describe what they don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The philosopher must say, I can speak only about what I know. I know that after that, eternity, I know with absolute certitude, is eternity in God is no time and no space. So I know that. So how? I know. It will be a beautiful surprise. I'm sure. A beautiful surprise. Surprise. You say, I never thought that eternity was like that. But we have no point of comparison. Surprise, I see, eh? I thought you were in hell, but you are in heaven. Okay. And page 7 at the bottom. A creation and notion associated to with are unintelligible and mysterious. You see, you know, they are. We cannot know that. Of course, we cannot know the thing completely. But it is not because I cannot know a thing completely that I know nothing. For example, I tell you, eternity, I am sure there is no time and space. That is something, no? Like when you know that in your bank account you have minus $10,000. You know that, you know, and that's, I know, but I don't know exactly what it will. I know negatively. I don't know positively. I can know positively eternity only when I will be in eternity. And you know why nobody come after to tell that to us? Because we cannot understand what they say. Because we have no point of reference. No point of comparison. You know, suppose a teacher, Dr. Duncan, he goes to the primary school in St. John, and he gave a class of philosophy, epistemology to the kid of the 2nd grade.
They probably understand more.
He would say that man is Or that man is very learned, but we don't understand that thing. But it is the same, you know. Even if somebody comes from eternity to tell us what is eternity, life, eternal life, we will not understand. Because we have no point of reference. What we know, absolutely, with certitude, no time, no space. God has no watch. Watch does not exist. So if you have a watchmaker, a clockmaker, you will be unemployed in eternity. Okay, I go to page 7. Yes, we got that, okay. Yes, okay, mysterious. You know, is it because something is mysterious that we cannot know something about that? For example, the Holy Trinity is a mystery. Huh? Do you know something about that? No, nothing. You were not the first catechism. What is the Holy Trinity? It is one God in three persons. You know something. You know the essential. But after that is ended. Huh? Because it is, but you know something. It's not necessary to know completely a thing to, no, we can know a part. For example, the farmer. He knows the difference between a cucumber and a potato. He knows the difference. But don't ask him to explain completely all the constituent of a potato and all the constituent of a cucumber. He has a clear idea, but he does a distinct idea. So a mystery, we can have from a mystery a clear idea. For example, the mystery of incarnation today. Today is the feast of the incarnation. But what is that? It is God who made the flesh. God become man to the action of the Holy Spirit. We know that. But can we understand that? Can we explain that perfectly? But we know something. So it is, you know, even if the notion of creation seems to be mysterious, it is not something unintelligible. In your own life, when you take a decision, an act of freedom, can you explain perfectly your act of freedom? No. If you can, it's no more an act of freedom. There is a part of mystery. Why are you here today and not in other words? Why are you here? If you were maybe asleep, maybe you have 2, 3 children with you. Now you have all boy with you. There is a part of mystery. Yes, it's true. We cannot deny there is a part of mystery. So, but mystery does not exclude, is not necessarily unintelligible. But that's the main is there. The point is there. Huh? A mystery is not mystery because it is unintelligible. A mystery is intelligible. Otherwise, it will be a nonsense. Unintelligible, that means it's not rational. A mystery is a reality able to be known. To be known partially by a finite mind and to be known perfectly by the perfect intellect. We know something about the incarnation. We know something about the Holy Trinity. We know something about the presence of Jesus in the Holy Eucharist. But we don't know totally. We can explain. There is a big part of mystery. In fact, I like the definition of a mystery as something, not as we cannot understand, but something that we never finish to understand. You know, we see sometimes the human person is a mystery. People, they marry, they live 50 years. And they discover one, little by little, they discover for 50 years one another. Because every person is a mystery. Even yourself, can you say, I know myself perfectly? No. You are for yourself a mystery. But do you know who you are? Yes. So it is, a mystery is intelligible, but not completely explainable. But it is not a reason to say it's not intelligible. It is intelligible. So the act of creation, even if not there, is intelligible. And next page, page 8. So because of that, we can have a clear idea of what is creation, even if we don't have a distinct idea. In many, many things in our life, we have a clear idea of what is a thing. We can distinguish a cat from a dog, but can you define completely what is a cat and completely what is a dog? It's not easy. I remember when I was teaching in 7th grade in Montreal, the inspector of Catholic school came and he said, you know, children, take your pencil. Okay, now write me the definition of a pencil. What is a pencil? Imagine 7th grade to say what is a pencil is not easy. They know what is a pencil. Well, they know. And when they took the pencil, they did not take their rule. They take the pencil. But to define what is a pencil, it is very difficult. Besides that, in logic, remember, definition is not easy. So to have a clear idea does not require that we can define the totality of the thing. But we can distinguish the thing from the other thing. Okay? So the idea of creation, what is the essential? It is to know that God makes things from nothing, independent of the thing He creates, by a pure act of love. That is creation. Because God has no personal interest creating the world. Why? Because if He has a personal interest, we will add something to Him, no? And now we touched the problem, we already spoke about the problem of the glory of God, etc. So I have a few minutes to go to the first, the next paragraph will be the unproducing matter. Because I told you we have three hypotheses. The first we study is creation. The second is unproduced matter. The main matter is eternal. Matter produces itself, is the cause of itself, explain itself. And finally the third is pantheism. So everything is. So I will stop here. And next class we study the two other opinions about the creation of the unproduced matter and pantheism. Have a good weekend.